with the restrictions on air travel and safe management measures that we have to comply with, tourist guides have to think of other ways of doing tours. So can we actually conduct virtual tours? Certainly, yet some of us are reluctant to start. I could bring you on a virtual tour of an attraction. So it's online. You can only see what I show you on the screen and listen to what I want you to hear. At a local market, how can I get you to smell the pandan leaf, feel the prickly durian, and taste the laksa? So as virtual guides, we have to work much harder to describe things and to get you to use your imagination. So we must add other components and learn technical skills to make the online sessions interactive and fun.
One of the key features that we are seeing here is a need to be mindful of the digital space, cybersecurity, and data protection. And alongside with it, what exactly would be the IPs going to look like, particularly when we are transcending both physical and digital space?
I think the two of you have set a very lovely stage for us to go into the main discussion. As everybody can see on this slide, there are three topics that we're going to discuss today based on a lot of pre-webinar feedback that we have cut together and through our partner, the Singapore Tourism Board. And the first topic is on protecting your IP assets.
I framed together here in a very quick snapshot the different IP rights that you would tend to come into contact with. Trademarks is self-explanatory, everybody knows that. Then of course there's copyright, which is a little bit more complicated, and we'll spend some time about this later on, but copyright really protects things that are artwork, music, literary works. And then you have designs, which could be the external facing of something. So it could be a chair, it could be a mouse, it could be the iPad, the external facing. Then you have confidential information, which is usually you hear people say this is confidential, it's my trade secret, and there's value in that. And then you have patents, which could be, really how something works. It's a new invention. It's tagged to a computer software, perhaps, and virtual reality. So all of these rights, why are they important in terms of trying to help you understand it? Because the way in which you protect something is actually different. Okay, so each of these IP rights have got a different way of protection. They have also different rights attached to it. So they confer a different monopoly to each and to the owner. So one of the things a basic that I want to tell everybody first is that there are the blue parts here. Generally, most of the parts in blue are rights for which you have to also seek registration. There's a registration regime in many of the countries, including Singapore. But things like copyright and confidential information, usually these things exist and you can assert your copyright. In some countries like China and the US, you still need to do a registration regime, generally, primarily also to evidence your rights to it. And they have a registration regime.
When we talk about virtual tours, that is essentially a product that I see. And traditionally, the way that you actually monetize that product is by charging fees. Now, the questions to ask ourselves now is that in an environment whereby we are not able to charge fees yet, are there other ways, are there other avenues of revenue streams that we can actually exploit out of providing virtual tours, right? So for example, if we can't charge fees, can we look for sponsors, right? Who somehow our content is able to then bring out certain aspect of their business, right? And they're willing to pay us a sponsorship for that, right? If you're not able to find sponsors, are there ways to also sell other products as a result of the virtual tours, right? So there are many different revenue streams that we can actually tap onto beyond the traditional way of actually charging fees, right? Charging admission fees itself. Now, the second thought that came into mind immediately when Trina mentioned that is that traditionally the end users are the one that is going to pay you the fees, right? Going to pay you the money for your tours. Now, if the end users are not the parties that are going to pay you, are we able to then have other parties that will then be able to pay you for those tours, right? Are there government groups who are able to do that in line with a certain mandate they are trying to push out? For example, HPB, right? If your tours involve the health aspects, are they able to then pay for the participants to then attend your tours. So in this pandemic situation, we probably have to think a bit deeper, right? Beyond the traditional ways of revenue streams, making money, to different aspects of how we can still make the best of the situation.
So in this FinTech festival that you see in front of you, it's really, there are two IP holders, the Monetary Authority of Singapore and SingX, which is my company, SingX Sphere. And we've agreed that we can license the IP to partners. Remember, we have to invert the model, right, to be in different source markets. But if I have a partner, say in Japan, right? Next slide, please. If I have a partner that, say in Japan, it'd be quite odd if I am a Japanese central bank with the ecosystem of players promoting Singapore FinTech Festival. Doesn't quite square, doesn't sit well. Yet we need, say in this case, the Japanese to be a partner. Say, okay, let's think about how do we engage partners and yet help them also grow their business, because here it's about mutual growth. If we can work together and therefore work to bring about collaborative ventures between the actors in our respective ecosystems in our countries, then I think that's the whole intent of this platform. So an overarching brand was sort of conceived in the context of the World FinTech Festival. And whether or not this is a way forward, we wanted to see how can we have wriggle room in order to cater for not just the folks from, in this case, Japan. We went through also the folks in Dubai, also in Kenya, and different key markets, which we believe are going to be very key in terms of continuing the momentum of growth for the FinTech Festival in Singapore. At the same time, we also have to look at how do we evolve this into the hybrid format.
So I would like to thank, on behalf of IPOS and STB, our 4 wonderful speakers who have taken time off to spend with us today to share all their experiences and knowledge. So thank you, Lorraine, Aloysius, Jean, and Winston. Thank you very much.